Hey everybody, I want to go ahead and do a video on the new event, Peaks of Prestige Rekindled Duel, so that way you can quickly get through this event. But if you already know how this event works, feel free to skip ahead to the Duelist to where I discuss what decks we're going to use to get through this event as quickly as possible. So let's talk about the basics. So how you win the game is by either getting your opponent down to 0 health, or whoever has the most health at the end of 8 rounds wins the game. And how you do that is by summoning echoes and defeating your opponent. So let's go ahead and talk about the echoes. Right here you'll see that we have the boar. Now you'll notice that it has 2 con, 2 strength, and it does 1 damage. This damage is going to be dealt to my opponent if it ends up surviving at the end of the match. It also costs 1 energy to summon. So if I summon that to the field, you'll notice that my energy went down by 1 because I started out with 2. Also note that you can only have a maximum of 4 echoes on the field. So next let's talk about ways that we can get energy back. Now one of the main ways that we use to get energy back, especially with the old Peaks of Prestige, is by reconstructing echoes. If I was to throw something from my hand or throw something from the field, I would get energy back. So let's go ahead and try that out by throwing this from my hand. You'll notice that my energy does not go up. The reason being is now the extra added feature in this mode is that we have domains, and every enemy's domain has a special effect that when we reconstruct a card, we get no energy. But even though that we don't get energy from reconstructing, it still throws that unit back into our deck, and some skills are procced by reconstructing. So we have to do alternative methods to get energy to be able to activate our effects. One way is that some echoes have a special echo skill. This one right here, when we transform it, we gain 3 points of energy. So how you transform is by throwing that echo into the middle section right here. But if this was still in my hand, it would cost 1 energy to summon to the field. But since it's already on the field, I actually don't need to spend any more energy and I can just drag this into the middle column. So do keep that in mind, whether this is in your hand or if you need to just summon it to the field. By doing that, you'll see that we went up another 3 energy, so now we have 4 out of 2 energy. This is also a good time to talk about one of the other new things that they added to the game, novelty items. This is something that you can summon to the field to where it is not an echo that is going to fight for you, but you're able to use active skills. So again, it has a 1 energy cost to where we can summon it to the field, and as you notice, it does not take up any of our deployed echo slots. We can use the active skill and we can gain 2 points of energy. So now we went down to 3 energy once we summoned it, and then when we activated it, we went up another 2, giving us 5 out of 2 energy. So now let's go ahead and talk about other echo skills that is going to help you generate advantage over your opponent. So we take a look at this Diamond Claw, you'll notice that it says, when we modulate this echo, draw 2 cards. So to modulate, you need to put this echo over another 1 cost echo. This Vanguard Junrock has the same ability. They also have special skills which can be used after they're modulated. So let's go ahead and talk about modulation. So I'm going to go ahead and summon this echo to the field. By doing that, I went down 1 energy. So now I'm at 4. If we take a look at it, you'll notice the echo skill didn't proc because it wasn't modulated, and we also don't have the special skill because, again, it's still not modulated. But if I summon the Scorpion to the field and put it over the echo, it modulates, turning this into where it does 2 damage now, 2 strength, and it has 3 con, and I activated the special echo skill to where I was able to draw 2 cards. I also got this special skill, invisibility. Now you can only modulate on top of a 1 cost echo with another 1 cost echo 1 time. To further modulate this echo, I would need a 3 cost echo, and I have to have at least 3 energy. So let me show you how that works. So here we are in round 2. All I did was summon another Scorpion, modulated it, so I was able to draw another 2 cards, and of course it has the special ability, invisibility. Going back to our novelty item, this had 2 charges. We already used 1 use last round, and now that we're in the next round, we're able to use this use again. So if I go ahead and do that, I'm going to gain 2 energy, and it's going to get sent back into my deck to where I can hopefully draw that again, so that way I can constantly keep getting energy. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our 3 cost echoes. We see this one right here where it says if we modulate this echo, we get to draw 3 cards. But you'll notice it has a 3 energy cost. Since I have 5 energy, I can go ahead and modulate this on top of my Scorpion. This now has 5 damage because it inherits the previous damage, and it has 3 strength and 8 con, a very tanky monster, and generally how you're going to beat most of your opponents is by constantly summoning elite monsters to take them out. Next, let's talk about domains. This is one of the new features that they added to the game. I already mentioned that all of your opponents are going to have domains with the special effect that make it to where when you reconstruct cards, you gain no energy. But we also get to use a domain ourselves. That is going to be this card right here. Whatever domain that you put in your deck, you're always going to start with it in your opening hand. And you treat it just like a card that you use to transform. So you just throw it in the middle right here. It'll do its special effect, and then you're going to be able to activate its skill right here. For this domain, we have the Inverted Tower. What it can do is it can summon a 3 cost or a 1 cost echo from my hand without spending any energy. So all I have to do is click on the skill, and I can select a 3 cost echo. And you'll notice that my energy is still 3 out of 2 due to Jesus' effect. This domain also has a secondary effect to where if I reconstruct 4 times, I'm able to activate this skill once again. So let's go ahead and transform this bear, draw 3 cards. I can reconstruct all of these cards except for the elite. The elite's the only thing left in my hand, and then I can activate this skill again, and I can summon another elite to the field. This stage is one way how we're able to bypass not getting energy for reconstructing. So next, let's talk about our core echo. Now this is going to be generally our strongest echo. If you can summon this within your first or second round, you're generally going to beat your opponent because all the core echoes are able to get summoned after 5 rounds. So the longer you have your core echo before your opponent can get it, the easier it's going to be able to beat your opponent before they can beat you. So you want to pay special attention to what you need to do to be able to summon your core echo. For this one specifically, we need to deploy 4 3-cost echoes. So once you meet the requirement, it's automatically going to get added to your hand. So the nice thing about core echoes is that they don't cost any energy to summon to the field, but do make sure that you have a slot available to summon the echo to the field. You'll notice that I have 3 out of 4 slots, so I'm able to maximize my slots. So lastly, let's go ahead and discuss how you calculate damage. So how it works is whoever wins the fight, all the echoes that are left standing, you add up their damages and you use that to damage your opponent. So if you take a look at my team, I have my core echoes that does 8 damage. I have this elite that does 5 damage. I have this light crusher that does 5 damage. And I have this other elite that does 3 damage. So altogether, that is 21 damage. But my core echo has a special ability that once the deployment stage ends, I increase all of my echoes damage by 2. So since I have 4 echoes, all of their damage is going to increase by 2, so I'm going to add another 8 damage to that score. So it's going to be 21 plus 8, meaning that I'm doing 29 damage to my opponent. You can see this very easily once I press fight, because they go ahead and do the damage calculations for you. Another way how you can figure this out is by looking at your echo's damage versus your opponent's damage. Since all of my echoes survived, I get to do the max damage to my opponent. And the last thing that I want to mention about these fights is that you can increase the speed of these fights by increasing it to 2 times. Just simply click this button right here. It's going to start out at 1 times. Now let's talk about the setup. And we're going to do that by taking a look at our tactics. So starting out, we're going to get access to the rover. Now she doesn't have the greatest tactics, mainly because she's the one that we're starting out with. You'll take a look at her passive tactic right here, to where every time we modulate, we randomly increase the strength of one of her echoes. Her active tactic increases the strength of all of her echoes by 1, but you have to use 2 energy. The main resonator that we're trying to get to is Chisa. This is due to the fact that her passive tactic allows us to get 1 additional point of energy at the start of each round, while her active tactic allows us to spend 1 energy to draw a card. That basically means that you can draw 3 cards a round. So now let's go ahead and show you what's going to happen when you start a duel. Once you go through the dialogue and you accept the duel, it's going to look like this. You're going to have your duelist, and again, starting out, it's most likely going to be the rover. You simply click that button to select other duelists. And next, you're going to select your deck. We're going to have 2 different decks, the basic deck and the Autowin deck. We're going to be using the basic deck until we get all the cards needed to make the Autowin deck. And I'm going to explain how both decks work, so don't worry about that. Once all that's good to go, you simply just need to start the duel. Starting out, you're going to get an opening hand, and you can select any of the echoes that you want to swap out. Again, this is going to depend on the deck that you're using, but simply by selecting an echo, you're going to see what they are. Anything that is not selected is going to stay in your hand. So let's go with something like this. The duel is going to start with your opponent going first. Once they end the turn, you're going to be able to do all of your moves. It's going to start by showing you what you need to do to get your core echo into your hand. Once you confirm, you're going to go ahead and see your opening hand. The first thing that you want to do in every match is go ahead and throw down your domain. And looking at my hand, you'll notice I have the card that I kept, and I have 3 other different cards. So with that, you should now know all the basics to play through this event. So now we're going to start talking about the duelists that you're going to face and the decks that we're going to use to get through this event quickly. So let's discuss how to get through this event. Starting out, you have to go through section 1 and you have to defeat all 6 of these duelists. It's going to show them on the map, and all you have to do is just go to them and duel them. Duelist 1 and Duelist 2 are ones that you can just easily skip and get through them. Once you go to 3 and 4, these are going to be tutorial events. Pretty much all you have to do is just click through the buttons and you're going to be able to finish that. And after you beat Duelist 4, you're going to be able to create a deck. So let's go ahead and discuss the first deck that we're going to be using. That will be our basic deck. So let's go ahead and go to build deck. And these are the cards that you want to use in this deck. You want to use Inverted Tower for our domain. We're going to be using Havidia for our core echo. And then you're going to want to use these other cards. To quickly get to those, simply just click on the Spectro and the Lightning cards, and just make sure that you have all of these cards in your deck, which you should definitely have at the very start. So now that you got the deck built, let's go ahead and discuss how it works. So the main point of this deck is that we're going to constantly be summoning elite echoes, so that way we can get our core echo out very quickly. So we'll mainly be looking for 1 cost that allow us to draw cards, or things that give us energy, especially if we have the Chisa Resonator. But it is also good to have at least 1 car or horse echo, so that way we have an elite that we can summon to the field. So we'll just end up getting rid of the 3 cost echo because we're most likely not going to have enough energy to summon it anyway, so we might as well get a different card. So let's go ahead and start the match. So again, the main thing that we're trying to do is summon this core echo as quickly as possible. So go ahead and throw your domain down into the middle. Now that we have that, we'll go ahead and activate our special domain skill to summon a 3 cost echo to the field. By doing that, it summoned another 3 cost elite echo, and we were able to gain another energy, so now we have 3 energy to work with. So we'll go ahead and just do the bear, transform it in the middle, draw another 3 cards. We ended up getting another bear, so we'll go ahead and just do that again, draw another 3 cards. And we ended up getting the boar, which allows us to gain more energy, which is going to be great. So we'll go ahead and throw that in and go back up to 3 energy. So let's continue drawing cards. So we're going to go ahead and put these 1 cost echoes, modulate on top, draw another 2 cards. We have 1 energy left, so we can only summon 1 more thing to the field, but we can go ahead and take advantage of our domain. Remember, if we reconstruct 4 times, we're going to be able to automatically summon a 1 or 3 cost echo. So go ahead and get rid of the elite echoes that are not the horse or this car. We can also go ahead and just get rid of the 1 on the field. We can use the skill again and we'll summon the car. Since these 2 are already in your hand and we only have 2 in the deck, we want to try to get something that's going to pull something out of our deck. We want to go with the car. That of course pulled out the horse. And here we're kind of at a standstill. We can't really do anything else to get another thing summoned onto the field. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and reconstruct until we get this to 3. Because once we start next round, we're going to automatically be able to summon something from our hand. And then we just need to reconstruct 1 more thing, getting it to 4 to reactivate that skill again. So we should be able to summon our core echo on the 2nd round. But since we do have Rover, we might as well activate her active skill and increase our echo strength. So now we should be ready to fight. Feel free to go ahead and increase the speed to 2 times. Most likely you might lose the first round because a lot of these opponents cheat. But once we get our core echo, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So we got another boar. We'll go ahead and just put that in there. Now we're at 4 energy. Since we have 4 energy, we can go ahead and modulate on top of our scorpion. Draw another 3 cards. We'll go ahead and activate the domain, summon the car. That was our 4th echo that we summoned to the field. So now we are able to get our core echo. We'll go ahead and summon our core echo to the field. It allows us to get a card. We'll recycle a card. We'll activate our domain, summon a horse. We'll go ahead and use this to transform to where we're able to go into our deck and look for novelty items. We can go ahead and get this one that's going to increase our energy, or we could get this one that is going to just automatically summon a 3 cost or 1 cost echo to the field. This one's generally the best, so we'll just go ahead and get that. We'll reconstruct again. We'll go ahead and put this down, activate the effect, summon the horse again. That goes into the deck, so it's bringing up our skill over here. We can literally just do this again, pick up the same thing, reconstruct that. With this, activate the effect, select on the car. We can reconstruct, activate the effect again, and we might just have barely enough to do this 1 more time. So let's go ahead and reconstruct that. We'll put this onto the field, draw another 2 cards, throw one of these away, throw that away. And we'll go ahead and summon a card. It gets us another one. We'll just throw these 2 away to set up for next round. And that's all the effects that we can do for this round. As you can see, we easily beat our opponent due to how powerful our Core Echo is. For the next round, you're essentially just doing the same thing, just trying to do all the abilities that you can until you don't have anything left. So we'll go ahead and do this novelty item, increase our energy. You'll get rid of one of these, so that way we have room on our field to go ahead and activate our effect. We'll summon the horse, which will summon the car. We'll delete the horse, use the domain skill again to summon the car. We'll delete the car, delete that, and delete that. Pretty much we can't really summon another thing without getting rid of another echo on the field, but we don't pretty much want to do that because we want to try to do as much damage as we can to the opponent. So we're just going to activate Rover skill as much as we can. And that's all we can do, so let's go ahead and fight. And with that, you should be able to beat any opponent until we're able to make the Autowin deck. So using the deck that I just showed you, you should be able to easily beat Duelist number 5 and Duelist number 6. Once you beat Duelist number 6, you're going to be able to get access to Chisa. On top of that, you're going to be able to fight the second round of Duelist. So in stage 2, we're going to have these 6 duelists that we can fight, and you can fight these in any order. So what I recommend that you do once you're able to reach the second set of duelists is that you immediately go fight Iris. By defeating her, you're going to get all the cards needed to make the Autowin deck, and you should have access to Chisa, so it should be very easy to beat her using the deck that I just showed you. So now that we beat Iris, we should have everything that we need to go ahead and make the Autowin deck. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we need to create this deck. Now, I didn't create this deck, Takamine did, so be sure to check out his video down in the description. So for our domain, we're going to need the Origin Chamber. This is a very good domain because it's going to allow us to gain a point of energy and draw a card every time we activate the skill. For our Core Echo, we're going to want the Lioness of Glory. And these are the other cards that we need. You can easily find these in the Fusion and Lightning section. Also note that if you're not able to find a card, be sure to check out your collection and scroll down to either the Fusion or Lightning card that you're missing, and you may need to unlock it using the points that you gathered so far while playing the mode. So let's go ahead and showcase the deck by fighting the final duelist. So for the duelist that you want to use, you want to make sure that you have Chisa select, and of course select the Autowin deck. So this deck can be broken down into 5 steps. So for your starting hand, you're mainly looking for things that can draw you cards, because for step 1, we're trying to look for the Bull Echo and the novelty item that allows us to gain energy. So we're mainly looking for 1-cost echoes that allow us to draw cards or get energy, so that way we can keep activating Chisa's skill. Or of course, we would look for that Bull Echo and that novelty item. So let's go ahead and pitch these 2 since they're not going to help us. Even though that the Elite Echo allows you to draw cards, it just costs too much energy starting out. So for our Core Echo, all we have to do is activate a skill 5 times and it should be summoned. Now we should be able to get this within the first round, and I'm going to go ahead and show you. So we'll start out by putting our domain in the center. Again, when we activate our domain, we're able to draw a card and get 1 point of energy. And we're starting out with 3 energy, so this is going to be very helpful. So far, not the greatest hand, but let's go ahead and summon this so that way we can draw some more cards. And we'll go ahead and reconstruct this dragon right here. Nice thing is we did get this boar, so we're able to get some more energy. That's going to help us out. Then we can go ahead and use this Fusion Chew Rock to go ahead and maybe try to find the bear. That's going to allow us to draw 3 more cards. We'll go ahead and transform that. We get another bear. We'll go ahead and use the bear again. Still, we're not able to find the novelty item, so we're going to go ahead and use this thing to where once we activate that skill, it's going to go ahead and reconstruct itself, gain an energy, and draw a card, so it basically replaces itself constantly. That's going to be one of the main things we use for our strategy. You're able to draw another boar, so let's go ahead and get some more energy. We'll go ahead and use a June Rock, and that was able to find us the novelty item. Now we have pretty much what we need to start this process. So we want to go ahead and summon the novelty item. You want to go ahead and activate the energy, and then you want to go ahead and place this bull to where it can copy a novelty item. So we're going to go ahead and copy that, and now we can get more energy. This gets us to step 2, to where now we just need to activate 5 active skills to summon our Core Echo. And now we can basically activate our domain once again to go ahead and gain energy and draw more cards. Just by doing that, we've already activated things 5 times, and now we have our Core Echo. Once you get the core echo, be sure to go ahead and summon it to the field. And now we're going to work on trying to get 2 elite echoes onto the field. So let's go ahead and reconstruct all of these extra echoes on the field, and let's try to summon 1 elite echo. But be mindful of your energy, because you want to make sure that you don't go down too low, because you need to keep constantly making energy so that way you can do the strategy. So we're going to go ahead and put this 1 cost echo down, and we're going to go ahead and put this echo down, and that allows us to draw another 2 cards. Now we currently have 4 energy, so let's go ahead and summon 1 elite echo. That puts us down to 1 energy, but we were able to draw 3 cards. And now we can use the bull strategy once again. So let's go ahead and get rid of this so that way we have some room. We'll go ahead and place the bull, copy the novelty item again, and now we can activate that skill one more time, getting us another 2 energy even though we were at 0. Every time you do copy this novelty item, I would just kind of get into the habit of deleting it, because your field's going to fill up pretty quick. We also need to keep trying to get energy so that way we can eventually summon our next elite, because we need to have at least 6 energy before we can try to summon another elite again. Let's try to do that. Get rid of that. Rid of this. We'll use this to just try to draw 2 more cards. We'll reconstruct this. Rid of that. We were able to get the bull again, so let's go ahead and make a copy of that. Go ahead and get rid of the bull. Activate our special domain, so we were able to get some more energy. So now at least we're at 4. Still not enough, but let's go ahead and start setting up for our next elite echo. So we want to go ahead and put that down at first, and then we want to modulate on top of it, so that way we draw 2 cards, and we drew into 2 bulls, which is perfect. So we'll do that, and notice we only have 1 spot left on the field. This is why you want to make sure that you're constantly getting rid of those extra copies, so that way you don't waste this ability. Activate that, make sure that you discard it, and pitch the bull back into the deck, play the other bull, activate the effect. Now we're at 4, pitch that, pitch that. Let's just go ahead and activate Jesus' ability to draw a card. Not what we're looking for, we'll try again. Hey, we got another bull, so let's do it again. Now we have 3 energies, so we could modulate this last elite echo that we need, but we're going to be out of energy. But also notice that the domain is active, so let's go ahead and activate that skill. Now that did not get us what we needed, but there's only 5 cards left in deck, so I think it's pretty safe to go ahead and get our last elite echo down on the field. So now let's go ahead and get rid of this, and we're just going to go ahead and put these things all together. And now that we have our core echo and our 2 elites summoned to the field, now we just have to increase their damage until they're able to one-shot our opponent. So let's go ahead and summon this and activate the skill. That got us the bull, so we go ahead and activate the bull, select the novelty item, and activate that skill. We'll go ahead and pitch the bull and go ahead and pitch the extra copy. Also note that we're using the core echoes effect. Every time we activate 2 skills, it increases the damage of all the echoes on the field by 1. So let's activate Jesus' ability. We got this thing again, so we basically refund our thing. It got us a bull. Let's go ahead and activate the bull. Do that. And pitch these 2. Now we can activate our domain, and we got that. And now for the last trick for this. So when you have enough energy and your deck is very low on cards, you can use Chisa's skill to get down to 1 card. Activate Chisa's skill, we get a card, activate Chisa's skill again. There's now 1 card in the deck, and now we can power up our echoes by cycling the Orange Fusion Prison echoes. So let's go ahead and activate the effect. It cycles, then we put this on the field, activate the effect, it cycles, and we just keep doing this over and over. And just like I mentioned before, every time we activate 2 active skills, it's going to increase the damage of all of our echoes on the field due to our core echo. So we just keep doing this until our combined damage altogether is more than our opponent's health. And in this case, that would be 85 damage altogether. So I'm going to try to get these to about 30 damage each. So now that our combined damage is more than our opponent's health, we're ready to fight our opponent. And as you can see, since our opponents have no enemies on the field, we instantly win. But even if they did, we would still destroy them. And lastly, let's go ahead and talk about the rewards. By defeating all 18 duelists, you're going to be able to get all the rewards. But there are a few things that I want to go ahead and point out. You want to make sure that you click on this thing, that way you can collect the new Echo skin. But let's go ahead and take a look at the collection section. Now here you notice we have to unlock 100 cards. You might not have all 100 cards locked, but if you defeat all 18 duelists, you're definitely going to have enough points to get 100 cards. So let's go ahead and show that. So you want to go over to the collection section and then just scroll down to any card that you don't have unlocked, click on it and press unlock, and you'll unlock that card. Very easy to do, especially with all the points that you're going to have. And one other thing is make sure that you click down here on the bottom, because these are also some rewards, but if you do not click it, you're not going to accept it. But with that, that should be everything that you need to do to quickly clear this event and get all the rewards. If you found this helpful, I would greatly appreciate a like so that way we can spread more on YouTube. But other than that, I'll talk with you guys later.